Oh no!
Hey guys, and welcome to Nintendo Maniac. I'm Valors, and this is part 1 of 2 videos that I dedicate to a special occasion. Now, it's not because this is my first content update on YouTube, nor is it because today is my big hands review, although I don't want you to get distracted by them later, so let's have them out in the open. Oh, if these puppies could talk, they'd have stories to tell you. Gaming stories, of course. They do hold my joystick. Stupid jokes aside, no, today is my 10th anniversary of what's probably my favorite game of all time. And you probably already saw it in the title, but that's Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo Wii. Now, some of you might say, the 10th anniversary was last year. And you're right, officially it was, because the game came out in Japan in 2010. The rest of the world though, we had to wait pretty long before we got our own version of this game. In America it's even till mid-2012. Europe and Australia got it in 2011, with Europe leading, getting this game on the 19th of August. Now, I'm filming this on the 20th of August, which is 10 years and 1 day later. But I did mention this is my 10th anniversary of this game. You see, at the time I wasn't really paying close attention to the promotions of Nintendo, and they did promote this game pretty well. So I only noticed their promotions, I think a day before release. Meaning that on the day itself I still had to secure my own copy of this game. We in Europe though got a special version of this game. A game pack version, or a limited edition, let's say, which the rest of the world didn't get. So I wanted that one, but everyone and their mother already pre-ordered theirs. All the major stores had none left. So after a lot of searching online, I did find this one online store that I think doesn't even exist anymore, but they still had one copy. So they shipped it over, and 1 day late, on the 20th of August, I got my big box, which contained this lovely red controller. Now, I will be ranting about why this game is so great, but before I do, let's have a look at these 3 items in front of us. Now please know, this is not an unboxing video. If you're interested in that, I will put a link in the description down below to one, but be aware, you see one cat quite a lot, so if you don't like cats, search for one yourself. Now you may notice the box in width and height is pretty much the same as a standard Wii game case. It's just a lot thicker to be able to hold the controller. The game art is the same in the front as the standard box. It's a little bit darker though. And it mentions that it contains the Classic Controller Pro. Now my version has a scar here, sadly. This is how it arrived here, and as I mentioned, I didn't have any other options at the time, so fortunately it's not very noticeable. Probably they made it with the Monado, I hope. Now the side has a couple of screenshots at the top of cutscenes, some text about the game in the different languages of Europe, and a couple of more screenshots with the Monado again. Now you can see that the glue here let go as well, but that's not something that's unique to mine. That's something that I've seen to other big boxes as well. Now the back is pretty much as you can expect. It has some text on the top, some screenshots, some more text, and some information about the game play, and the standard information that you find on back covers. Now this side mentioned what this box contains, which is the game instruction booklet. Now, I do have to mention that there are 2 actually of those. One in English that's in the standard game case, and one thick booklet that contains the other languages that Nintendo uses in Europe. It has the Classic Controller Pro and the operation manual for the Classic Controller Pro. And here at the bottom we have some lovely art again. Now the top and the bottom upside down. There you go. Now the controller is pretty much as the as the black and white ones, as you know. It's just red. It's very sensitive to fingerprints, sadly, but it's still a lovely controller and, to be honest, the best way to play this game. Even though I've played this game quite a lot using only this controller, it's still in mint condition. And it's still highly sought after by collectors. I'm very happy I have this one. Actually use a red Wiimote to play the game with this controller. Now, the game itself, or the standard box, is not standard because it mentioned that it's not to be sold separately. Now this is something to keep in mind if you're a collector and you want the big box. This is the cover that you need to match. The back is pretty much again as you expected, with a different selection of screenshots and rearranged order of all the information that you can expect. And the side is just a standard Wii game case side. Now, please try to use that code, and if you manage to do that, let me know, because you're a great hacker. As I mentioned, it does contain the instruction booklet, which is just in English, and there's a much thicker one that's separately in the big box. Now, what I still want to show you is, I will do that a little bit off screen, is the reversible cover. Because yes, I don't think the normal version has this, so that's another reason to get this version if you're a collector. The inside has some lovely game art. Now I don't use the reversed version because I like this, and I don't think this is really what you can use as a cover, but it's a nice poster. Now I'll start ranting about why this game is so great. First, let me just say I have no intention of spoiling this game for you, so I will basically limit myself to what's in the trailer and some game mechanics. No spoilers ahead. Now, where to start? I guess at the beginning of this game, where the game shows you two colossal titans battling each other to the death. And they do die, that is, which is a good thing, because their bodies form the world of this game. And what a world it is. It's one of the major selling points of Xenoblade Chronicles. It's fast, with lots to explore, varied and beautiful. There are so many locations where just the view itself is worth to pause and just look. When I started playing this game for the first time, I had this old type of TV with a round bulb. Even with the limited graphical performance of the Nintendo Wii, I just had to upgrade my TV to Full HD, just to get the best experience of this game world. The scenery gets accompanied with some great music. I especially love the main theme song that you hear at the start screen, but also the different tracks for the different areas and battles. They just enrich the experience you have so much. Now that I've mentioned battles, right after the opening cutscene you're thrown into a major battle, which takes place 1 year before the actual adventure. You'll be playing as Dunban, the major hero at the time, while the game gives you tutorials for how the battle mechanics work. Which is another great thing I love about Xenoblade. The battles are real-time, with different chargeable attacks available for each character. Though you only control one character of your choosing, at times you can make combo attacks using abilities for each hero in your party. A party you create from the different heroes becoming available during your adventure. Of course, this is not something new or original, but combined with the battle mechanics, this provides a lot of different ways for one to experience the battles. After the opening tutorials, things start to calm a bit down as you control Shulk, the main character. There will still be tutorials, every time actually when the game introduces something new, but they're relatively short and to the point. As you and Shulk progress to the main hub and start doing some quests there, the game gives you these small hints about the world and its history. It's a great way for you to start wondering about the story ahead, the world you're in, and get you invested. Right then, hell breaks loose in the city and you're challenged to make it through in one piece. Only to finish it off with a very emotional ending of that event. And by that time it should hit you, as by now you are invested in these characters and the world they're in. And that's where the adventure really starts. Simply by saying hell to this, let's get revenge. It's plain and simple, but that's just how things start. Because the story breaks open and deepens immensely, plus giving you enough twists along the way. This story is really amazing, it's pretty unique and just keeps on unfolding. At the time, I never really had the chance to sit down and play this game for full days on end. I had to play it late in the evening, which meant that every day I just lost some sleep because I wanted to see what happens next. And it only got worse the further the adventure progressed. And as you progress, you get to experience more and more extra mechanics of this game. For example, for quests this can be the choices you make, which determines which quests become available, or which NPCs you build up a good relationship with. But there's also the gear you wear, the gems you force to strengthen certain aspects, which talents you pick for your characters, and of course, which characters form your team. There are more than enough options available, yet not that many that it becomes overly complicated and annoying. Personally, I think Xenoblade Chronicles created a great balance between these factors, and manages to give you a unique experience and lots of replayability options. Now, I could say a lot more about Xenoblade, but I'll close off by talking a little bit about some characters. All of them have their own story development, which is nicely accompanied with unlockable memories. Most of you will know the main character, Shulk, as he is also available in the Smash Bros. Series, and he is actually the only one who has an amiibo. However great it is to play as him, I found myself mostly playing as a ranged attacker / healer. There's just something about the ease that gave me to control the battles. Yet my favorite character, both in design and as to play as, has to be Fiora. Her story is probably the most emotional one. Her character is tough, with lots of care still around her. And honestly, the voice actress did a great job to give that personality shape and tonality. The voice acting is great in general, by the way. Even if I have my favorites, I have to say it's been a pleasure trying them all. I love Xenoblade Chronicles, and I hope I managed to explain even just a little bit why it's worth all that love. I'm a bit torn between what I love most, whether it's the world or the story. I'm curious, what do you think? Do you know what you love most about this game? And do you have a favorite character? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if so, please like, subscribe and consider hitting that notification bell, because it just helps the channel out so much. Also, consider following me on Instagram. I'm trying to be pretty active there. Again, thank you so much and game on!